This is the video for Friday, February the 12th. McClellan oscillator dropped a little bit, 8 points, heading towards the neutral area. Let's take a look at some of the charts. Let's start with volatility. Volatility is sitting right on top of, and it dipped into the complacency area, meaning that the S&P should still be moving higher or sideways, but not necessarily down due to any market fear. The Dow Jones made a new high. If we zoom in here, you can see that we closed with a new high. Get rid of these RSI bars, you can see it better there. Nasdaq, we've got a couple of things we want to look at in the Nasdaq. This big move here from the beginning of 2019 through to early 2020 before the COVID drop, that move is this Fibonacci right here, this red one. And it shows that if you take this move and extended it, the same move right on top of this point, we doubled this move. If we take a look at this move up and measure it from this point, from the COVID low, that's these green extension Fibonacci's, and we hit 178.6. So those two Fibonacci lines are close enough together to say that there could be resistance to moving higher in the Nasdaq. The S&P tried to look at, these are yearly green lines here, and I tried to look at trends year to year and just couldn't find any. But the S&P did close up at a new high. And if you look at Fibonacci's, we've got all, I won't go into too much about where these Fibonacci's originate from, but there's some good waves that we're using. There's the coronavirus low to the high before the pullback. We've got 4 different sets of Fibonacci's. We have a lot of consensus right up here. We've got 3 different Fibonacci's that sit right around 4,000. So the S&P is going to run into resistance when we get up there. It's still got a bit more of a way to go. Apple just chugging along, not really doing anything, not even outperforming the market on any given day. That hasn't happened since way back here on December the 28th. It's just sort of been moving with the relative strength of the market. Square has just been a beast and has charged through this 127.2. Square is being driven by the excitement of cryptocurrency. So we're heading towards 280 with Square. I'm down to now only 100 shares. I had 2 of them, 200 shares with short calls taken away from me. Not sure I want to step in again at this high level of, at this kind of height. I'm going to sit and wait for an opportunity on a pullback. NEO has been great for just rolling calls. It's certainly caught in this sort of a wedge that started back in here in January the 11th. And it may continue to chop within that wedge, but we need to see a break above this point right here, above 64.54, before we want to add any more into NEO. I just keep rolling my shorts forward. Viru had a nice shot up, so we should keep an eye on that and see if there's an opportunity to get back in on that again. That's going to be a one-day wonder, and then it pulls back. But PRGS, we haven't looked at that in a while, because when we drew, let's just take out the Ichimoku here. Do you remember when we talked about this particular pattern here, this Gartley pattern, almost Gartley, that finished where Gartley would have predicted? we thought we might be setting up for another pattern, and we drew in a temporary bat pattern. We drew in X to A, and we left B floating out here, and said if it hits this point, it's going to start forming a bat if there's any pullback. It's hit that point now. So what we want to see is a pullback to 42, and then we would start trading the C to D leg of this Gartley. So let's put in an alert right here. Let's also put an alert right here. And these are going to be our two indicators. If it moves above 43.78, then it's moving to form a different pattern. If it moves down to 42, then we know that we've got a bat formation in progress, and we're going to start trading CD. Plug. I'm going to say that it's filled this gap because it's tested the top of it often enough. I'll still leave it there, but we still have this wedge pattern, which maybe not. Plug is just moving along nicely. Another good stock to be selling calls on. I have the 70 short calls that I rolled again for another week. PRNT is a stock that I'm into, as I said. It's an ARC fund that looks at 3D printing. This is its biggest holding, DDD, 3D printing. You can see 3D printing on this parabolic move up. And of course, so did PRNT, not quite as parabolic. DDD pulled back, and print has pulled back. So it's an inexpensive way to be buying into DDD if you'd like, and you don't want to pay the high prices. Well, no, it's not true. I mean, that's $49, and this is same price. So anyways, lost my train of thought. Where are we going? We are, I'm sorry if I sound painful here, but it is painful. I don't know where we're going right now. The McClellan oscillator says that we should be having a little bit of a pullback. The S&P had this little move up. I do believe that there's a little bit of a pullback coming, and maybe the Nasdaq is the one that's telling us that. Dow Jones has hit a new high. I'm sitting at more than 50% cash right now, which is just the way I like it, and I don't see any opportunities. I would like to see a pullback.